Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to today's game between the Maricopa Marshals and the Bonnieville Bulldogs. Uh, Today, going to be an amazing game, especially for one of these teams, as the winner will walk out of here one step closer to seeing their dreams of postseason stardom come to light. The other team walking out here not in a great spot, as their fate then rests in the hands of their opponents and how they do. So let's get started here in the doghouse with Mark Collins. And Collins will fly out to center field to get us started here at All Paw Arena. And that will bring up Ethan Butler. Butler batting 256 on the season. And it'll be an air on Vargas. A lot of errors happening in the third base area for one reason or another. So Butler will be on in that regards, and that will bring up our favorite Kelly Jennings batting just under 400 here to start us off. And that will be a fly ball to center field. So the Marshals are down by 2 outs. And Torres will hit a ground ball to second base to bring up the Bulldogs here. And leading them off is Ramon Caballero. Caballero, a thorn in the sides of the Marshals, especially after last game, as they walked away with a one-run win. And he will continue his thorniness as he is able to get a single to start off the Bulldogs. And that will bring up Colleen Beck, who will be walked by McDonald. So this will be McDonald's fourth game. As you can see, having lost one game and not finished three others or two others, this will be his fourth game. And it's not starting off so great as the Bulldogs have two on and nobody out. And that will be a line drive to center field. So the Marshals will earn their first out. And Jonathan Rubio, the hitting leader here for the Bulldogs, will come to the plate. Rubio batting 328 with 5 doubles, a triple, and 3 home runs. So definitely a powerhouse. And with speed to boot, as he's able to beat out the double play. So a ground ball to third base, fielded by Butler to second, but not able to catch Rubio in time. So now there are 2 outs and runners on the corners for Leonard Kennedy. Kennedy batting 208 on the season. And the Marshals get themselves out of a sticky situation with a ground ball to first. So we go to the top of the second. Still no score in this, uh, again, game where every hit, every run is going to count. And up next, we have Tracy Sutton. Sutton batting 283, one of the leaders here in the West, as well as the entirety of the DBL. And again, we probably won't ever stop talking about her 3 home run game because that is just amazing. As she hits a line drive to Herrero for the second out of the inning, and that will bring up Ricardo Nunez. And the Marshals will go down in order. So we go to the bottom of the second, and that will bring up Javier Vargas. Vargas batting a little below average, about 246 on the season. And he will hit a dribbler out in front of Pena, who's able to get him out at first. And Roger Gray will come up to bat for the first time. Gray batting a 192. And a hard ball driven to left field, easily caught by Torres. And with that, two are gone, and Alexander Delgado will come to the plate and pop up to Lynette Mark for the third out. So, in a game where it's, you know, I don't know if you all are feeling it. I'm feeling it for sure. But it's gonna be I feel this game is going to be one of those where there's a lot that doesn't happen, and then it all happens. And then it's just kind of over, and you're left going, what the heck happened? As Ford is walked with one out to bring up Collins for his second time up. And they are going to go for extra bases as Ford will be the first run of the game. So Collins comes up and doubles, bringing Ford home, and the Marshals will be the first to draw blood here uh, in the top of the third. And that will bring up Ethan Butler, who reached on an air his first time up. And he gives a little sacrifice, so a ground ball to second base. Collins reaches third, and now Jennings will be at the plate with Collins 90 feet away from another run. So really just any kind of hit here will be just what the doctor ordered. And you have it. Jennings delivers a line drive to center field that Gray is not able to get to in time. So the Marshals now up 2 runs in the top of the third. So that's 2 runs, 2 hits, and they leave one on base, but not before they are able to break that tie. And up next for the Bulldogs will be Gene Rasmussen. And McDonald will bring them down with 3 strikes there. So his first strikeout of the game. Only his second strikeout on the season, believe it or not. And that will be a ground ball to third base. So cleanly fielded by Butler for the second out. And then Colleen Beck will be up for her second time. She walked. She's been McDonald's only walk of the game so far. And this time she will pop up to end the inning. So the Bulldogs go down in order once again. Uh, last on Monday here, the rest of the games, the Marshals got lucky with the Bullets loss. They lost to the Sabertooths, Steel Sabertooths. But if the Marshals lose this game and the Bullets pull out a win, the Marshals will officially be out of playoff contention. So a lot riding on this game for the Marshals. For the Bulldogs, the Crocs are playing the Carson City Claws. Um, but a win here for the Bulldogs will at least currently tie them up, even them out. Um, Obviously, a loss here will drop them back to. That doesn't mean they're necessarily out of the playoffs, but if the Crocs were to win, it would make it harder. A lot of very specific things would have to happen for the Bulldogs to get in with a loss here, which is again why for both of these teams it is a key game. First half of the season you can kind of mess around, do whatever you want to do, whatever. But once you get to the bottom half and it's the playoffs games are just a few weeks away. That's when it's time to really buckle down. As we go to Leonard Kennedy, who grounded out with 2 outs here. And he is on base, so the Bulldogs able to get their second hit of the game with 2 outs, and this is really where uh, they shined last game as well. And there you go. Kennedy able to score to cut the lead in half, and Vargas on with a double. So, like I said, nothing was going to happen, and then all of a sudden, excitement and craziness. And the Bulldogs able to tie it up here in the bottom of the fourth as Gray hits a single. And that'll be 2 runs off of 3 hits while they leave individual on base. So we are we are back to square one here with the score 2-2, and Lynette Mark leading off. And Mark comes in clutch with a home run to bring the Marshals back into the lead. Salvador Ford, who was walked in the third, coming to the plate, looking to keep this new rally alive here. And he has walked a second time with no outs. So the Marshals definitely looking like they can do some extra damage here. Except Collins will ground into a double play, kind of cutting that hope off. But again, you can't mistake the you can't make that lose credit after Mark's home run there. So as we hit the bottom of the fifth, we will pause for a quick announcement, and then we will return to the action. So just as a reminder, or for those of you who are just joining us, after the conclusion of the Marshals season, whether that be the regular season or in the playoffs, I will be streaming the computer game Death and Taxes. So please join us. A lot more interactivity where you essentially get to choose as you're a Grim Reaper, and as Fate's assistant, you get to choose who dies. So join us for Death and Taxes after the conclusion of the Marshals Season 4. But until then, we'll get back to the action. The Marshals are still very much in the game here. As McDonald strikes out Rasmussen for his second strikeout of the game. And that will bring up Caballero, who hit a single to lead off the Bulldogs. But he will ground out to the shortstop here. And Colleen Beck will be up, walked and popped up here, and flew out to center. So the Bulldogs go down once again in order. It looks like whatever happened in the fourth, McDonald has been able to shake off and is still very much in the game. And Jennings will ground out here to start the Marshals off. And up next will be Felipe Torres. And Torres on with a single, also one of the Marshals' speedier individuals. So we'll see if he's willing to willing to go the distance here and try to take a steal. He will not, and Pena will fly out to left, so that will bring up Sutton. And Sutton will also fly out to left. So Torres getting on does nothing for the Marshals, and we go to the bottom of the sixth. Some additional news from around the league. The Inkham Infernos and Redmond Runners are on the chopping block. If the Nooksack Novas win their game, they are also out of playoff contention. So, getting down to it, I'm going to assume if nothing super crazy happens, uh, and things kind of stick to the status quo, when we will be joining you next week, we'll be talking about there's only going to be a handful, a very small handful of teams left in the running for the four playoff spots that are there. And that will be a fly ball to left field for Torres to make the easy out. So we will once again retire the side in order, and that will bring up Ricardo Nunez. And one thing for Nunez, it is just sad to see. We still got several games. We got a few games left. For him to power through the beginning of the season and really be the home run guy. For him to just not be able to make that contact the rest, for him to not be able to hit an extra home run or just that one last home run for the rest of the season is kind of disheartening. Same thing with Sutton. You're looking for one more home run. Uh, and honestly, the Marshals did lead in home runs for a good portion, a good couple weeks, and then just kind of stopped. And sure, they've spread out the home run love. Everyone's kind of gotten their own home run and had their moment, but you just haven't had the same uh, flair. They hit a home run. It's someone who's only gotten one or two home runs, uh, and you're not seeing the power that we were seeing or the consistency from one player that we were seeing early on. So, but alas, really what it boils down to is winning, right? A win's a win, doesn't matter how you do it. Um, as Colin hits a leadoff single for the Marshals, along with Torres, Collins, another one of your speedsters, really the few Marshals that actually has a stolen base. Credit to the stolen base there. You can see the Marshals two stolen bases on the season in total. They just do not steal. Now, whether or not that's tied into you can attribute their win loss to that. Arguments abound for that. Looks like they are not going to take the extra base or attempt that. I mean, being in the lead, top of the eighth, probably should have. But Torres will be up, and we will see what he is able to do. And it's pop up to the shortstop. Uh, so we go next to Ivan Pena. Pena 0 for 3, has not done anything too exciting the last couple games. as he flies out to center field. So the Marshals unable to capitalize on runner in scoring position. So up next, we have Gene Rasmussen, who has struck out both times he's been up here today. And make that three. So all three of McDonald's strikeouts have come from the same individual, and that will bring up uh, Ramon Caballero. And Caballero will single with an out. And Colleen Beck will be up to the plate. She's 0 for 2 with a walk. Ooh, and a strikeout. So McDonald able to earn another strikeout this inning. And that will bring Isaac Herrero to the plate. Herrero also 0 for 3 on the day. And that will be a ground ball to shortstop. So for a lightning fast game, the Marshals are up for the final time. There is someone warming up in the Marshals bullpen. Whether or not they'll be replaced, McDonald will be replaced early, or there'll be, a wait, uh, unknown, as Sutton is walked. There looks like there is also someone warming up in the Bulldogs bullpen as Pastor walks Sutton, and the Marshals now have a runner on first with no outs. And it looks like they are able to get Nunez. Sutton took off as soon as Pastor threw that ball. So Sutton able to make it to second, and Raul Nunez will be marked as a sacrifice sacrifice hit to get Sutton to second. And that will bring up Lynette Mark. Mark 1 for 3 with a clutch home run in the fifth to put the Marshals on top. Let's see if she's able to do it again to extend the lead. She is not, unfortunately, as it'll be a line drive to Kennedy, who's standing right there for it. But that will bring up Salvador Ford, who's been walked twice, um, both in the third and the fifth, but popped up in the seventh. And that's a high pop-up in foul territory. So the Marshals, again, unable to capitalize with runners in scoring position. And really, if anything, if you're going to attribute loss versus wins, that is where I would say the Marshals have really been unable. That's where they have lost their games, is unable to turn individuals in the second or a third into runs, as Rubio is able to hit a double, a leadoff double. So this is it, folks. This is where we could see the Bulldogs once again in the bottom of the game, late in the game. The Bulldogs come back and earn a win and potentially earn their spot. Ooh, yes. Uh, Earn their spot in the playoffs, as we see a deep fly ball, fly ball to right field. Jennings able to grab it, and Rubio able to make it to third. So what we're looking for here is a stop, a lovely strikeout, a pop up, something. And that is a ground ball to second base. So the crowd hushed. Barely any sounds around. Really, it's only my voice. As Roger Gray steps up to the plate. Gray, 1 RBI, 1 for 3, brought home a run in the fourth inning to tie it up. Let's see if he's able to give the Bulldogs new life, or if this will be it, at least for this game here. And he is walked. So all of that intensity for nothing as Gray looks at ball four and Alexander Delgado, who is 0 for 3, comes to the plate. And it is now runners on the corners with 2 outs. And you can put this one in the books, folks, as the Maricopa Marshals squeak out a run, squeak out a 3-2 win over the Bonnieville Bulldogs. They will continue to fight, regardless of a Bullets win or loss. They will continue to fight for a spot in the playoffs, as will the Bulldogs. They still have their opportunities. But join us next week as Marshall baseball continues.